What's going on, everyone? John Petrucelli here. Just getting back from a day of teaching at Oberlin, and I had a bit of an interaction today with a seller of a saxophone that I'm checking out. I'm not going to name names because I still really want to buy this horn, but just going through some difficulties in communication and expectations. And it's something that's continually come up for me over the last 2 years since the pandemic. And I thought I'd just make a little video to chat about what we should expect as buyers and as sellers of saxophones in this marketplace, because there's not a whole lot of us out here, and I think we all need to be better communicators, and we all can be better. So, from the selling perspective, what do you need to have to sell a saxophone? Well, number one, and you would think this is obvious, but it's not. You need to have the saxophone in your possession. Number one, this whole broker and it's not mine, but I'm selling it on behalf of, I think that is really suspect. And it can, lead down some rabbit holes where people on both sides can get hurt. Sell the saxophones that are in your personal possession. If it's for someone else, that's fine. That's not a problem. But you have to be able to take pictures of that saxophone. I call them ransom shots. You got to be able to take a picture of a horn that you're selling with a copy of the newspaper, today's newspaper, to prove that it's actually in your possession. Otherwise, you're just dealing with these sort of shadow games, and I just don't think that's right from a selling perspective. Number two, playtest. Every single day, people are trying to sell musical gear and not demonstrating that it's in working order. And I get it. From the selling perspective, I do understand, because a lot of people are hesitant to showcase their skills as a saxophonist, and they don't want their playing to get in the way of the sale. I totally get that. But if that's the case, have a professional come over and do a test play of the horn. I'm sure a lot of players would do it for free just to play on a cool instrument. Or if you need to toss someone $20-25 to record a couple minutes worth of video, is that really the worst thing in the world with, instruments that are starting, professional saxophone starting around $3,000, give or take? That shouldn't be too much to ask. It's 2022. You got to include a play test if you're going to sell a professional saxophone, in my opinion. And again, from the sales perspective, number three is that it should be in perfect working order. Take it to a tech. Make sure that it's got a fresh set of pads, that the pads aren't rotted out. People trying to sell broken instruments for thousands and thousands of dollars, again, just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you want to buy an instrument that you don't value enough to even put into playing order? Of course, a really serious player is probably, their first step is going to be to bring it to a tech, because beyond just a normal setup, you have your nuances, right? Key heights, specific pad setups, and the like. But that's a step beyond just a normal COA, clean oil, and I'm forgetting what the A in COA stands for. I'm gonna let it go. In any case, sellers, I think, are equally getting frustrated by the buyers. And don't worry, sellers, because I'm coming for the buyers now too, okay? Buyers of saxophones and saxophone gear. These sellers are not at your beck and call. Guys, not all of us are just sitting on our computer, Facebook Messenger, eBay messages, etc., waiting for you to ask another question. I think it's totally acceptable to contact a seller from the buying perspective with a list of questions. When's the last service? Play test. The service history of the instrument. Has it been re-lacquered? Are there any dents, scratches, major item issues? And are they readily apparent in the pictures? I think there's a reasonable set of questions that you can ask as a buyer right up front to get the information that you need to be able to assess whether or not you want to pull the trigger on a horn. However, I think that there are plenty of horror stories out there about people asking questions that go way beyond the simple sale perspective, in terms of asking about the history of instruments, asking about the history of certain serial number ranges. That's research that you got to do before you enter into a conversation with a seller, as far as I'm concerned. And if you want a lesson, take a lesson. Absolutely. If there's someone that you're contacting in part because they're a player and because you're looking for a relationship to blossom, either personally or professionally, you want to be friends with this person, or you want to be my student, I think that's totally cool. In fact, it's one of the reasons why I'm getting more deep into the whole gear marketplace, is because I think it's really cool to connect with people who share the passion, beyond the music, but the physical instrument itself as well, and the history and the legacy and the mechanics behind the instrument. Totally cool. However, I think sales need to be more binary. Do you want this? Okay. How much does it cost? Pull the trigger, And that being said, again, buyers and sellers alike, from the buying perspective, I hear a lot of buyers, who are upsetting sellers with asking for lower prices. And, the whole marketplace has, taken a pretty substantial, dip at the moment, at least in most sectors. Certainly vintage sixes in amazing condition are sort of coming out of the closet out of nowhere in droves right now, as people are moving instruments that they thought would just sort of stay in their closet, or museum grade pieces are getting moved right now that we've not seen, at least in my time, the last 20 something years. But I think bottom line, of course, it's okay to try and ask for a lower price and to try and negotiate, but you can't push a seller past a certain point, and it's not worth the hard feelings. This community is too small to be upsetting, especially some of the bigger secondary market sellers. Insert names here. But these are cats, who have been in the industry for a long time. It's not worth, putting your name onto a blacklist over $500 or $1,000, when a lot of these bigger market sellers, they know all these cats. They deal with them every single year, and if you're good to them, they will find stuff for you. I've had sellers contact me, in some cases, having lived in cities all over the United States, I've had sellers contact me years after I've moved from a city to let me know that a particular instrument that I was looking for, they finally got an example in. And if I had been trying to, fight for every penny on deals that I had done while I lived, in a particular city, I definitely wouldn't be getting those calls. I'd be on the no-call list. In any case, I'm coming back to the sellers. Sellers, you can't be surprised that buyers are looking for better prices right now, though. I have cats calling me, telling me, why is this person asking, for a discount? Everyone's going to ask for a discount right now, man. Everyone. So can you just build that into the price? Like, we all just want to feel like we're getting a deal, okay? List the horn at 3,100 and sell it for 3, Just, I think there's a psychological aspect of this, and I think, especially, as musicians, I think there's a psychology to wanting to get not just like the horn, but like you want to have a story behind the sale. You want to have a narrative that you feel comfortable and good about. And I'm surprised that sellers are not helping musicians more to feel good about their sale. So why not just, know that the asking price is malleable? That's gonna inevitably be a conversation point, with most buyers. Certainly there's high dollar, collectors in this community who can, pull the trigger on a, $25,000 closet queen, but those are far and few in between, right? And most players who are seeking professional instruments in this community are people who are, playing gigs that, are just, never going to allow them to recoup the cost of this horn, without taking on, a gig, like a wedding band gig, or, even like a side hustle, that kind of thing. So sellers, I think you can help musicians feel more comfortable at the point of sale. And I think we just got to meet in the middle more. I'm just seeing a lot of friction in the community right now. I guess this video is just coming from, I'm trying to buy this horn right now, and the cat who's selling got mad at me for requesting a playtest. Hey, I messaged him, I'd like to hear this horn being played. I can play it, or you can send me a demo of it being played. Just want to make sure that it's in operating order, essentially. I feel pretty comfortable that it's a model and an instrument, range that is gonna be a player. I just like to make sure it can speak a low B flat. I don't think that's too much to ask. In any case, buyers, sellers, let's be good to each other. We're all we have out there, and it's a small scene. So let's all just try and stay positive and try and be better communicators.